Hi there.
Hey, Ardita.
We're on a road trip, so I'm in the car, so I'm just going to keep my camera off.
That sounds lovely. Where are you going?
Pittsburgh.
Hooray! I've heard very good things about Pittsburgh, but I have never been.
Oh, we love it.
Awesome. We are not expecting Tracy, shockingly enough.
No, she's a little busy, isn't she?
She is a little busy.
Mm-mm-mm.
Um,
Good afternoon.
hey, Don.
Hi. I'm
We are
down to
not
Heritage Festival. Just kidding. I'm going to be though.
nice. I'm headed down to activities right after this meeting. So looking forward to it.
And it really just looks like a fantastic weekend.
Yeah. It's a ton of lineup. Downtown looks phenomenal. The painting on the Newberry building looks
Oh, that
great.
was
I
awesome.
know.
I was so happy to see that.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
we've been talking about it for months now in council meetings, so I'm glad it was done. That was great.
Yeah. It looks really sharp.
yeah. Huge shout out to Kenzie on that one.
Yeah.
Well, I thought Carol did that all herself.
You
She is
will
very
never,
artsy.
you will never see me with a paintbrush in my hand.
That's a good boundary, Carol. Um, just as a flag for everyone, right before we get started, I do have the puppy locked in the room with me. I may have to briefly turn my video off and prevent her from eating something. Um,
I may have to do the same with my husband in the car.
very fair. Yep, very fair. Um,
Mr. Baker, can't get your tongue. I haven't heard a word yet.
Oh, still working.
Just kidding. Yeah. All right.
we'll wait just another minute or two. Sorry.
And
Okay.
Jeannie might be having problems. Hey, Jeannie. I am, yeah. I had to I had to do the control click to it.
I can send her the link directly, Brian, if that's helpful.
Amanda's gonna send you the link directly. Just try that, okay? Yep. Bye. She was having trouble from the Word document. She wasn't able to. It wasn't sending her anywhere.
Sending her right now. Uh, just
For all the years in businesses I've had, I feel like such a rookie when it comes to Zoom. Never did this, always was in person. My wife worked for corporate America, so she's well versed, but I try to pretend that I'm smart and can do it on my own. Like Carol yesterday, it's like a ghost email. One time the attachment would be there, the next time it wouldn't be. Like, what is going on? But here I am.
I see Jeannie twice. I'll admit both, and then she can decide which one she is.
Okay.
We shall find out shortly. Everyone knock on some wood, but I think the puppy is napping. Ah. All right. Hey, we do have her. Oh,
Yes.
we made it. Hooray.
We have
All
you
right.
we have you twice, Jeannie. I don't know where
Yeah, I
the
was gonna
other
say
one
I'm
is.
twice.
All good. All right. We don't have Josh, but we know we're missing Tracy, so we've got pretty much everyone, and we do have a quorum. So I am going to call this meeting to order. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
Not here.
Right.
None for
Hearing,
me.
hearing and
None.
seeing none. Public comment. I do not see any members of the public here for comment. If anyone comes, I'll tag them in if they would like to speak. We can be a little flexible on that. excuse me. Carol very kindly emailed around the minutes. I hope everyone has a chance to review them. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting?
I'll make the
So
motion.
moved. Okay, seconded.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or corrections or updates to the minutes that need to be made? All right, hearing and seeing none. All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
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 Puppy
Happy.
barked. Aye.
Good timing.
Sure. Sure. Um, Jeannie, my puppy is on the floor in the background. I thought it was a good idea to get a puppy. I may have to duck and tackle her or something. All right. Moving on to the agenda. The Phase 2 public outreach survey is drafted. Huge thanks to Renita for putting the questions so thoughtfully into what I think is a nice, clean format. I am going to share it here. I called it up earlier. I'm going to share the back end for you, just so we can make adjustments as we go along if we need to. Everyone should be able to see that.
Not yet. There we go.
There it goes.
There we go.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
great. Thank you. The first thing to sort of note in this introductory space here, we had talked about the public forum on August 6th. The Washington room at Alumni Hall, which is that big room on the second floor, is not available. I have a call in to hopefully confirm a reservation with the Aldrich for our regular meeting time during that hour. It's a touch earlier than I would ideally like to do a public forum, but there are other ways for folks to give their feedback as well. This fits with the Aldrich's schedule. It allows us to do a regular meeting and all of that. We can talk briefly about that after we've gone over the survey, but I just wanted to flag it for folks at the beginning that I have put that in its draft text right now.
I wondered about that. I knew the Washington room wasn't available, but I wondered about the time. I
know.
Now the library closes at 6, right? So
They do, and they have an event that evening at 6, which is why it slides right in there. I'm extremely happy to entertain other ideas of other locations. I believe City Council space is open, but I don't love that as like a free and flow forum space. It's got dynamics with the dais and everything.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit after we've gone through the survey, but I just wanted to flag it for folks that it's currently in the draft version here. The rest of the text is copied over from the previous one, as is the first question is copied over from the previous one. Choose all identification categories that apply. Just as a brief note, it was about 3/4 I'm a Barre City resident and 1/4 I own or work or own a business in the first survey's response. No one chose I would rather not say. It'll be interesting to see if we get the same proportions this time. And then we move into the two sections. There's two sections, leadership and skills, and I'll scroll down briefly. And the other is sort of what I've labeled community challenges, and it's first year priorities. So there's two questions in the first section. WUFU does not allow you to fill in an other category. Or an other option. So for each question, I took Renita's excellent suggestions for options, and then I added a second question saying, if you answered other, please elaborate.
Mm-hmm.
Because you couldn't choose other and then fill in.
Yeah.
These brainstorms came out of sort of the questions that Dom asked us and Renita's ideas. Does anyone see any that they think they would like to add or anything they would like to reword in this section?
No, I thought it was good, and I thought that it incorporated some of our sort of development of things that we have been working on when we just developed the flyer and all that kind of stuff. So it seems to be changing as we work through bits and pieces too, which is good. It doesn't feel static, like it's just based on stuff that we discussed, 6 weeks ago. So
Yeah, thank you. I just dropped a link in the chat too, just as an FYI, to the front end of the form. If you're having trouble seeing on the Zoom screen and you want to just follow along, Puppy just barked at
Thank
the
you.
neighbor. If you want to follow along in a separate window for any reason.
I was having a little trouble.
Yep. So that it will look slightly different, but the material is exactly the same.
And I might be a little biased, but I just think this is the best survey I've ever seen.
Thank you for that objective opinion, Renina.
No, this
The first, I will move on. If anyone has any ideas for anything they want to tweak or add to that, feel free to jump in later, but we'll move on to the next question. And just to clarify, it says select up to 3. I couldn't figure out how to actually mechanically limit that, so we're just gonna have to let people be on their best behavior. All right, the next section, what professional experience should be the highest priority when selecting the next city manager? Again, as Carol noted, I also think this one builds on both the options that Dom listed and some of the feedback we got from the first round of surveys, because these are all skills that I saw come up in that feedback. Or that
And
we
all
talked.
joking aside, I will not be the least bit hurt if anybody wants to change anything.
is
Mhm.
And same as the first one, other people will have to check and then write out, and we may get some essays in response, which is fine, which is great.
I was actually really pleased with the amount of narrative responses we got, both in the initial survey and in the one for staff.
Yeah.
That people took the time. I mean, so often when you look at these kinds of surveys, as soon as it's a narrative box, you're like, oh, I don't have the time for that. I just,
Mhm.
So being able to give people both the option to just click a few buttons and also provide some additional input, I think is great. And the fact that they chose to do that, I find really heartening. So,
Yeah, I agree. I think people put a
Great.
lot of time and thought into it.
yep.
All right. As with before, if anything like occurs to you later that you want to tweak on this section, we will jump back to it, but I'll scroll down to the next section. And I'm actually, this is tentatively named community challenge, but I think that's left over from the first survey. So I'm going to call this looking forward instead.
Yeah, I like the positive approach instead of like, oh, we've got challenges.
Yeah, I think that's got a better feel to it. All right. What areas should be the highest priorities during the city manager's first year? Select up to 3. And then these are all, again, options I think that came out of our previous brainstorming, that came out of our conversations and Dom's survey. I'm going to make one suggestion as I'm rereading this and say improve city financial stability, just to make it very clear we're talking about governance stability as opposed to this next line, which is economic development and local business, to make there a clear distinction between those two choices.
I agree.
Perfect.
yeah.
The only question I have with the uses of the words improve, strengthen, increase, and is that they all seem to give to start from a place of that we're somehow deficient.
Good point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so perhaps just saying,
Communication with residents, getting rid of
yeah,
those. Yeah. Yep. That
Yep.
makes sense.
Taking away that word before each.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
think that's a really good suggestion.
Yeah,
Yep, I agree
now
with
that
I'm
I
that.
look
making it
at,
right now, and then we
Yeah.
can look over and make sure it still grammatically makes
Yeah.
sense.
I don't think
because we're
enhanced
talking
quality of
because we're
life is
talking
wrong.
about areas. We weren't talking about action. And, I mean, it's
Yep.
so I think removing the sort of
That makes total sense, Carol.
qualifiers.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so
Yep.
I've taken those all out. It should be updated for you all to see. I'll save it real quick so it'll update if anyone is looking at the other whoops, sorry guys. I saved it so that it would go to the public version of the form, excuse me. So hit refresh if you're looking at that version, and it should load for you momentarily. Oh no.
Yep.
Sorry, there we go. That's the right question.
Yeah,
Yep. That looks good.
All right. And then the last one, I will
Mm.
do the same thing as Carol's suggestion and strip out some pieces. And
I
maybe it's
think
instead
this
of
one,
better, clear.
I think this one actually is more,
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
where we could leave those action words in there, because it's,
Yeah.
we would
Yeah, because
see.
this one is talking about accomplishments, not sort of categories.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's a little different.
Yep. So I did just change the first one to clear because I think that's a more
Yep.
descriptive word. But tell me if
Oh,
any other.
Yeah, I still would probably change again the word improved,
or greater.
or well, no, I don't. I think
Greater transparency. It sounds like that we're not being transparent.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Increase. That one I can do increased.
Yeah, there you go. That would work. Yeah.
But I see what you mean, Carol. I was
but
thinking.
again, even increased transparency makes it sound like
Yeah.
we're not now.
Yeah.
Just like improved relationships with employees sounds like we're not now. So, I mean, I would maybe change improved relationships with employees to effective relationships or strong relationships with employees. Something that is a goal, but is
Mhm.
not also denigrating the current situation.
I like
Building,
strong.
like building strong relationships with employees.
How about continued transparency and decision making?
You could say further enhance the relationship.
Continued, like we are doing it, but
All right. So I just did building strong relationships with employees, and I went continued transparency and decision making, which I think.
feel like if we say building the relationships, there isn't one. So I think we need to use something like deepen the partnership, or strengthen existing relationships, or build on the strong relationships already established.
Or foster strong
yeah.
working relationships.
I don't know that we
Yeah.
need the verb. I mean,
Yeah.
I just, I think perhaps
Maintain
just
strong relationships.
strong relationships with city
yeah,
employees.
I agree with that, Carol. I think you don't need the verb. I think that would work.
And I would change more responsive customer service to, yeah,
Responsive, yeah. Collaboration with Reagan.
Okay. Progress is neutralish, so
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I think that makes these answers much stronger. Okay. All right. As before, there's an other, and then there was one last. How important is it? So I went back and forth on this question, so I'm curious to hear what folks think. How important is it that the next city manager actively engages with residents and businesses? I don't know if anyone's going to answer not important to this.
That
But
feels like a push-pull question.
a little, yeah.
I'd remove it completely.
Yeah,
It's one of those questions that has no wrong answer. I mean, has no,
right.
it's
Yeah, it's
it's
kind
a
of a given,
it's a push pull question.
yeah.
I'm genuinely curious if anyone was like, I don't care. But yeah, I agree. All right, I am in agreement with removing. Does anyone want to make a case for it?
I agree removing it.
Sounds
I
good.
All
agree.
right,
Remove it.
she's gone. It's a complicated process to remove questions for. I don't know if you could see that, but it makes me type delete. There we go. Okay, and then I just tossed in a general narrative box at the very end. Is there anything related to leadership skills or early priorities for new city manager that we have not asked about that you think it's important to share? Because you never know.
Yep.
We may not have gotten everything.
No, that's good.
Cool. Oh, wait a minute. I've got people in the waiting room. Admit, admit. And I've got a general Zoom user. I'm going to admit this and be ready to boot if I need to. Apologies in advance. Sorry
Yep.
about that, Josh. I just saw that you were waiting. I'm sorry. Josh and Peter both. And I'm going to admit a possibly anonymous person, and I may need to boot them quickly because we had some unexpected guests last time, but we shall see.
Yes.
All righty, so we have taken a look at the survey for anyone who's just joining us. I've shared the screen to the back end of the survey. We have made some changes, and I have also shared a link in the chat that I will reshare right now so that new folks can see it. That is the front end of this survey. If you find that easier to take a look at, you are very welcome to do so. To recap for those who just joined us, we just tweaked some of the languages and some of the question answers to just make them more clear and more sort of useful for feedback.
And more agnostic.
And more, yeah, more neutral for folks who are looking to give us feedback. All right. I think we're in a good place with this. Is there any, I'd ask folks to, if you have anything on the previous sections that you wanted to loop back to, has anyone come up with something that they wanted to go back to the early questions? And Josh, apologies, since we moved past, was there anything in the early questions that you wanted to give feedback on when you were looking at it?
I don't have anything.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm gonna hit save. Continue editing this form, and I'm going to stop the screen share. I'm going to show you briefly. I'm going to do a new screen share briefly to the new version of the flyer. That now that we've locked the survey, this QR code down here goes to the survey, and then as I said before, putting in a draft in-person gathering August 6, 2026. It's the same flyer as the previous survey. I have just updated the links and the text.
So we're going to stick with the time frame. That's continued.
So I'm going to stop sharing. Let's talk that through just a little bit. We had discussed at the previous meeting an in-person forum on Thursday, August 6th, which is as currently planned our next meeting of this committee. We had tentatively thought about doing it in the Washington room at the Alumni Hall. That room is not available. The Aldrich Library is potentially available during our regular meeting time from 4:30 to 5:30. They're not available later in the evening. I'm of two minds about earlier forum may be inconvenient for folks. I totally get that. We can look for a later forum. We'll just need to find a different location. We can check and see if council chambers are available, but that's not a great space for like free-flowing conversation. I might be able to get us the history center, the community room up there. That's not the most accessible, much as I'm fond of it. It's not the most accessible for a public forum. The parking situation isn't great. So that has its drawbacks as well. If there's any feedback on the time, any other ideas for a location, I would love to hear them.
My initial reaction is that the time is not great, but then I began thinking about the fact that, because it's at the library, it could actually be a good time for families with kids who could, come with the kids. The kids can be in the children's library section while the parents participate. It's after a lot of people's work schedule. And it's before dinner. So maybe it wouldn't be too problematic. So
I agree.
Yeah. It is. I mean,
I
the Mill Room is that short hallway away from the children's room, so they could easily run back and forth. I've done many programs where that's happened. So.
yeah.
I would like to eliminate any other accessible options for a location to have it later. I do know that it is a struggle for a lot of people to get to a 4:30 meeting, and so just even eliminating that barrier at all would be fantastic. But if we eliminate any kind of accessible space, then I would say yes, we had to do it at 4:30.
What about the labor hall?
Yeah.
I was thinking the same.
Let me look real quick on their public calendar.
Yeah.
And see. Should take just a second. There's nothing on their public calendar that evening. I can call around tonight and see if we can get it.
So, yeah, I think that would be
I like the
great.
labor hall idea. Thank you.
Yeah, I've also heard some feedback about concerns about the library, not with its leadership or anything like that, but from some families and the people hanging out outside. So if we could just maybe not make that an excuse to not attend, that would be fantastic.
I will take a look at the labor hall, and so if we move to the labor hall, are we thinking like 6 to 8?
Oh, I don't know. I think you're gonna get into dinner and I think you get it or keep it like it is. It's before everything at night. That's my opinion, but like I agree what Carol was saying on that.
Well, I
we
think
were only going to do an hour anyway. So what if we did like 6:30 to 7:30?
I think that makes sense.
Hmm.
6:30 to 7:30.
And I'd be willing to stay for that.
Labor hall. I'm gonna write labor hall question mark. In the interests of moving this along, I think we can get an answer on the labor hall by tomorrow morning. If for whatever reason the labor hall does not work, does folks have another backup option idea, or should we consider the Aldrich the backup option idea?
I would say the Aldrich is the backup option idea.
I second it.
I just want to be able to say I did our due diligence to try and make it as easy as possible and eliminate any barriers or questions.
And there's always going to be something, and we're just going to have to accept like this is an option. We're going to be discussing the same things that the survey asks for. If folks want to share their opinion, they have total flexibility to do that, both through the form and by reaching out to any of us and by attending a different meeting. And we will try and make that clear. And if anyone gets approached by but I can't go to this 1 hour, and be like, this is an option. It is not the only option. All right, I will, if you all can trust me to check in with the labor hall, I will let you know immediately which of those two options it will be. Try the labor hall first, confirm the Aldrich. If not, we should know by tomorrow morning. So
okay, so if we can get the labor hall and we go to the second option, does it go back to the 4:30 time?
Yes, it will have to.
Correct. Okay.
Because that is their availability.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are our two: 6:30 to 7:30 labor hall, 4:30 to 5:30 library. Both offer pros and cons, but again, both are one out of a spectrum of ways in which we're asking people these questions. So
Correct.
And with both cases, we're talking in person only.
yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Agree. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Becomes
Thank
a logistical nightmare otherwise.
you. Yeah. If they want to provide remote feedback, they can join us on our regular Zoom meetings, or they can fill out the survey, or they can
Yep.
call any one of us.
Yeah.
Great. Cool. All right. I'm going to consider the survey locked. I will let you all know as soon as we have a final answer on the forum. As soon as we get a final answer on the forum, I will lock the flyer, and I will make sure there are copies all over the place for Heritage Festival this weekend.
Good. That's good.
So folks can access it there. All right. The next item on our agenda is a general discussion of timeline and next steps. I want to emphasize very strongly that the dates that I put in this calendar are simply me looking in this section are me looking at a calendar and sort of generally spacing out dates. I'm open to any feedback from anyone, and I will state also that this is an ambitious timeline. This relies on everyone firing on all cylinders, and it relies on a good early applicant pool, which I think we are well positioned to get, but those are among the factors that could move this timeline. So just to review it, application closing date, and just to confirm to everyone that the job is posted, the city profile is locked, you all got the final version that Dominic shared. It is actively in all of the places doing its job. So the application closing date is August 14th. I had set August 13th to 25th for first round interviews. We have August 27. I picked as a date because that is a Thursday. That would be within our meeting pattern already. It would be a special meeting, but it would be on a Thursday in our regular meeting pattern. We could discuss sort of our impressions of the interviews. And theoretically, we've completed first round interviews. At that point, we could either say, these are our 3 finalists. We are going to city council with the 3 finalists, or we could see what city council wants for a number of finalists. Update on the city manager search is on the agenda for Tuesday. And one of the this is reviewing this timeline that we have discussed in this meeting is one of the things that I plan to bring to council on Tuesday. And one of the questions will be, because one of the back and forths last time was how many finalists city council wanted to see in order to invite for final interviews. So it's going to depend a little bit on how those first round interviews go from my perspective of either there's like 3 people we're like phenomenal. These 3 we're very confident sending on to city council. They can pick 2 or talk to all 3. It could be that council says, we want to see 5 names, and then we'll winnow it down to 2 or 3. So that one's a little bit open, but I would, and then council actually doesn't have a meeting on September 1. That's a made up date just to move on. This is Carol and I were talking a little bit about the pattern for council meetings in September.
I do have them having a meeting on the 1st.
Is it on the 1st?
Yeah.
Okay, then never mind. Forget I said that. There is a meeting on the 1st. I thought it was just putting a pin in the date, but that could be a meeting at which council reviews the finalists. The committee presents its work to council, and then it would sort of be in council's hands from then on. The committee may have some work continuing after that date if council decides they want to host the candidates in the city, and that may be some work for the committee to do. But after that, it's what council asks of us. All right, that was a lot of me talking. So I just wanted to review again, tentative dates I put in and why I picked those dates and those time periods, and I'm open to any feedback from anyone who's looking at this.
Let's do it.
I know that you've been talking sort of offline with Dom. Do you know what his process is with regards to accepting the applications, et cetera, and his scoring of them? Will we get to see all of them? Is he going to, um,
Yeah.
recommend certain? So if you can give us some information on that, that would be helpful.
Absolutely. So part of the contract with VLCT is a review of all applications, a review and acknowledgement of all applications that come in. So they're going to Dom. VLCT is, thank you for applying. We're considering your, et cetera, et cetera. Dom is taking our feedback and the notes he took and all the information he received about the city to sort of categorize the applications that he receives. He will review, depending on the pool. I've asked for as many as 8 to 10 next round for us to take a look at. He may use some first step phone screenings in order to do that. What he has said is that he will give us everything, all applications, but he'll sort of like put them in buckets.
Good.
Here's the bucket of folks I did not move on to a
I think we
first
need
round.
to see all of them.
Yeah.
Agreed. I like that idea of like, oh wait, why didn't this one make it?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're here
oh,
for.
that should. Yep.
Yep. He will share everything, and he will sort of give us which are his recommendations for that bucket of first round interviews, both of which I think will be valuable pieces of information. We did a little bit something similar last time, and I don't think we pulled anyone out of we all went, oh yeah, okay, no, it makes sense, and this, that, and the other thing. So that's what we will have to look at, and that's what we're targeting for those first round interviews. Are they roughly 8 to 10, but we'll see like what reflection of the overall applicant pool that is, that sort of meet the candidate profile, meet what Dom has gotten feedback, and that we say, oh yeah, everyone stays in this bucket or that bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer your questions, Carol?
Yeah.
Good. Any other feedback on this?
How close is this compared to the last candidate, which was Nicholas, back 3 or 4 years ago? I mean, is there any way of judging what we may get due to what we had then? I wasn't on council, so I don't know.
Yeah, last time we had around 30 applicants.
Oh, nice.
We did the first rounds in about 2 weeks. That got, and I will warn everyone in advance, like I said, this one depends on everyone firing on all cylinders. Those first rounds happened fast. We had to confirm, we had to lock blocks of time that we offered to the candidates, and then guarantee that we had a quorum of the committee at each interview. We did not expect that every single first round interview was attended by every single member of the committee. We know that that's really hard for folks, and that is totally understandable. But we had enough folks at every interview so that we were able to have a robust conversation with folks in the finalist round. So we did 8 to 10 first rounds. I can take the exact number for you if you want, but we did around 8 to 10.
Yeah.
And we forwarded on, sorry, the puppy just found a squeaky toy. Hopefully you can't hear that. We forwarded on 5 finalists to choose from to council. They chose 3 finalists. One of those finalists stepped away before the final in-person interviews, and we had 2 finalists come for day-long in-person interview visits, and then we hired based on that. In terms of the sort of timeline, the early part matches up pretty closely.
Okay.
Closing of interviews, the first round interviews, and the finalist discussion, all of that matches up pretty closely. The part that we're actually able to accelerate, I was not on council last time. I had to attend a council meeting and say, what do you want for your next step? And now I can just ask that at council meetings. Right. That will move a little bit faster. Sorry, hold on. There we go. That will move a little bit faster. Sorry, she's in my lap. This is Sally, everyone. So that we'll be able to move a little bit faster on that. The part that we as a committee have no control over is council's deliberation timeline. Don and I have some control over that being on council, but this committee unfortunately will have done its work and done its work well if we give council finalists on September 1, if that makes sense.
I just think a lot has happened in the last year or two with different areas of our government in Barre, and I just love to see a strong showing of candidates that are not just one field, but they can cover everything, because Barre is a pretty different kind of place with everything, and I mean that on a positive note. So yeah.
Stop it. Yeah.
Amanda, I'm hoping that you and Jeannie, as our HR specialist, will really help us with the interview process.
Yeah.
Will help shape the questions. Will make sure that we don't fall into any illegal pitfalls.
Yes.
Are so easy to fall into.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that the two of you will really help guide us through this.
Yes. So as a brief thought, on August 13th, which is the first date I've put for first round interviews, that would be a regular committee meeting. And that would be a week after our forum. And I think that can set the stage for the first round interview planning. And I think I already have in mind 2 agenda items for that. One is that Dom is going to prepare a suggested list of questions that are exactly the same across all of our first round interviews.
Perfect. Yeah.
So we'll have him present those to us and tweak them if we need to, get any feedback. And the other is Jeannie, you and I talked about this briefly. I'm hoping you can do a primer for us on interviewing. I know that every member of this committee is coming from somewhere different and may have different background and experience. Interviewing can, we have to be very careful. We have to be very thoughtful about making sure that we are not violating either any legal challenges or just presenting the city, we're putting our best foot forward as a city for these candidates who are coming to seek this job. I don't know if you want to speak to that at all, Jeannie.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can definitely, I have a lot of experience in that area, so I can definitely put something together just kind of to help, just so we're kind of all on the same page and just cautious of those things we ask. Because sometimes there's a lot of things that you wouldn't think would be, things like, do you have kids? Are you married? People sometimes don't, but we have to be very cautious about that. So I will definitely work on getting some information together to kind of help with that.
Phenomenal.
Thank you much.
Yeah. Been there, done it quite a few years.
Yeah.
I've owned 7 businesses, so I've interviewed quite a few people. Obviously, this is a different class of, or classification of what we need, but I totally agree with you. There's questions you got to ask, but there's ones you really got to be careful of how you ask.
And it's perfect with Dom doing the same questions for every person. Like, it's so important to have that consistency, to be fair and clear that everybody's getting the same questions, and it's, so.
Yep. Excellent.
Yeah. So those are 2, I hope that addresses it, Carol. Those are 2 agenda items I had because August 13th will sort of kick off that process, and that will be a regularly scheduled meeting of the committee.
Perfect.
At which we will also be able to set blocks of time blocks of time to offer to candidates for interviews. And I'll warn folks in advance, some of those may be if we follow the pattern we did last time, and what I thought was a fair pattern is we'll offer a block during the workday. We'll offer a block in the evening of like 4-hour chunks at a time. And then Dom will be the point person sort of putting people in those blocks and letting us know. We will be warning all of those as special meetings. We will be going immediately into executive session in order to do those interviews and preserve the privacy of our interviewees, our applicants, and we'll be doing the same when we have finalist considerations. So just and we'll discuss this on August 13th, but in advance, we are going to enter a very careful part of the process once we have access to the applications.
Great.
Cool. All right. Sally won't tell anyone. No, thank you. So, all right. Any other questions or feedback about this proposed schedule? We'll keep an eye on it as we go along. Like I said, it's an ambitious schedule, but I think it's a doable schedule. And we have a couple of points where we can reroute if we need to. All right, I'm seeing nods and general agreement. All right. I'm going to check that off. This is the schedule I will present as our tentative schedule to council on Tuesday with the same, caveats that I offered here. It depends on the applicant pool and things like that. I will also ask them how many finalists they want forwarded on. We want forwarded on for a week, I guess, to make a decision for finalists. And I would ask folks also to be thinking ahead of those interview processes. We had a brief conversation in our last meeting about whether we want to bring folks in for public in-person stuff in the finalist interview. And some of that's going to be what council wants too, but I think we should have a conversation as a committee about that. So it's got its pluses and minuses.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I understand Dom's concerns, but I also know how beneficial it was to city staff. And I mean, I wasn't involved with the community portions of the community visits last time, but I know the importance to city staff, and then also the sort of presentations to council, that sort of public opportunity was valuable. But I also understand the wanting to keep things as
tight
as possible, as long as possible, because we don't want to lose somebody because they're not yet in a place where they want their interest to be public. So,
and that's why we were elected or chosen for this, to keep this into the committee. I like to keep it inside. We're giving the public plenty of opportunity thus far and more, but again, we don't want to lose someone because of that.
And that is the very real risk that option offers. But I do agree with Carol that having the candidates in person and seeing them interact with Barre was enormously impactful on the final decision. We knew we had two very different candidates going into the finalist round, and that sort of confirmed and really helped us understand the sort of different paths in a very real way that that we council at that point would have to choose between. So I am personally deeply torn on this one, and I think it's also a council conversation and council decision. But like I said, I would like this committee to consider it as well.
You can also ask the applicant too what he or she feels about that when it gets that far down the road. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, totally depends. Alrighty. Any other, let's check our time, we're good. Any other, I've never had a puppy that just wants to sleep in my lap while I'm in meetings before, guys. It's pretty great. Any other feedback on the discussion timeline, or we can move to a potential other business? All right, seeing and hearing none. Is there any other business that has come before the committee? We had a couple of members of the public join us. I'm happy to revisit briefly a public comment section if any member of the public would like to share anything on either what they have heard or that they came to share. All right, hearing and seeing none. Any other business from other members of the committee? Other than what food truck are you looking forward to most this weekend?
Yeah.
All righty. Last chance. Okay. Just to recap, folks, I'm going to lock that flyer as soon as I have a location for our forum. You will know within minutes of when I do. I'll share that out to the whole committee. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you
Okay.
very much,
Thank you,
everyone.
Amanda.
Thank you.
everybody.
Enjoy the
Thank you,
weekend. We
Amanda.
will see
Have a
you
good
all
night.
around.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Amanda,
Bye. Yes.
a couple questions for you, kind of just between the two of us. Can you either you want me to call you or you can call me?
Yes. You
The
call me,
rest of
please.
us can leave.
This meeting is a recorded public city meeting, so Brian, I will give you a call.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
Bye.